Welcome back to Books on the Focus, the podcast where we dissect books like a surgeon dissects a particularly juicy frog. I'm your host, Bob, and with me, as always, is the wonderfully witty Alice.
Hello, bookworms. And yes, Bob, I do hope the frog is ethically sourced. Today's literary subject, is The Selfish Gene.
That's right, Alice. Published way back in 1976, think bell bottoms and disco. This book by the legendary Richard Dawkins shook the scientific world, a real game changer, and not just because it made genes sound surprisingly Machiavellian.
Machiavellian genes. I love it. It got a 4.16 rating on Goodreads, which, let's be honest, is pretty darn good for a book that basically says we're all just puppets dancing to our genes' tune. Not a bad score for something that might give you an existential crisis.
Exactly. 360 pages of pure evolutionary brilliance. The synopsis describes it as a vivid rendering of a gene's eye view of life. Imagine, Alice, genes plotting and scheming to ensure their survival, like tiny, microscopic villains in a biological soap opera.
Oh, I can totally picture it. Think Game of Thrones, but with DNA instead of dragons and ruthless self-preservation instead of winning the Iron Throne. Dawkins masterfully explains complex ideas in a way that's accessible to everyone, not just biology nerds. He explains the concept of the gene as a unit of selection, not just the organism. It completely changes your perspective on things.
And the implications are still relevant today. Think about things like altruism. Dawkins challenges the idea of pure selflessness, suggesting that even seemingly selfless acts can be explained by the propagation of genes. It's a mind-bending concept, really.
For example, consider parental care. We might think parents sacrifice for their children out of love, but from a gene's perspective, it's about ensuring the survival and replication of their own genetic material. It's a fascinating, and slightly unnerving, way of looking at the world.
Definitely unnerving, but also incredibly insightful. The Selfish Gene is a book that will stay with you long after you finish it. It's a must-read for anyone interested in evolution, biology, or just pondering the big questions of life. So, grab a copy, prepare for your mind to be blown, and we'll see you next time on Books on the Focus.
Until then, happy reading, everyone. And maybe, try not to think too hard about your genes' secret agendas.